Hello, Contrarians, listeners, watchers, subscribers. Here we are with another Contrarians post-credits. This one is for our first Rotten movie in a while. The delightful Dennis the Menace, 28% on the Tomatometer. To be fair, only 25 critical reviews. So can you really take it seriously? I don't think so. On the other hand, 39% on the popcorn meter. The popcorn bucket is on its side, and that one is 250,000 reviews from users, so maybe that one holds a little more weight. Whatever the case, Rotten, that means that on the main show, we praised it. That was our friend and patron Ben Murray that threw it our way. He has nostalgic attachment to this movie. We did our best to be fair to it on the second half, but on the first half, we just praised it. And it was kind of easy because we had Thompson in it, Christopher Lloyd is in it, Walter Matthau is in it. Oh, yeah. So there's, if you make the effort, there's a lot to like. Yes, Paul Winfield. Something that's slightly more than a cameo, I think. We'll talk about it, see if he shows up in the trailer. I don't remember. But we're going to do what we always do in these post-credits. We're going to give you some extra quotes, some trailer chatter, the Josh Gad Minute, some trivia, the whole thing. I'm going to start with the quotes, Alex, Rotten. And actually, we're going to start with the consensus. Critics' consensus. Walter Matthau does a nice job as Mr. Wilson, but Dennis the Menace follows the Home Alone formula far too closely. Does it?
I mean, we talked about that in the episode. It's a John Hughes movie, so that's a natural comparison to make.
Yeah, but Home Alone, I don't remember. It's been a while since we recorded the episode. I don't remember if I made this point in it, but when I think Home Alone, it's kind of like with Die Hard. You say Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on a train, Home Alone in an airport, Home Alone in New York. Like, there's a sense of like a child being separated from their family and then stuff happens. Mm-hmm. Like Dennis has, other than in the third act, like he's surrounded by adults. So I think that alone disproves the whole Home Alone comparison.
I guess that's fair. But yeah, I mean, it was a year after the Home Alone 2. And so it's, even though Dennis the Menace existed for fucking, 40 years prior to this being released, it was still, people were just so inclined to make the comparison, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. I wonder if like, there's
again, to be fair, it's a little blonde kid terrorizing this fucking criminal, adults. Yeah.
Is there a way, you Dennis the Menace fans, because I am not one, as far as like I'm not familiar with the comic strip. Alex isn't either, not to where we could answer this question, but is there a way of making the Dennis the Menace movie that doesn't get a comparison to Home Alone? What, do you pull back on the pratfalls and then it's what?
Not in fucking 1993, not that soon after that. I mean, because the whole deal is, like, if we go and find contemporary reviews for the first Home Alone, I guarantee you there's some old-timers that are like, oh, it's just Dennis the Menace. But then Macaulay Culkin's so fresh in everybody's mind. There's this little blonde kid that comes along. And it really, I mean, the one part of the movie, the fucking Switchblade Sam thing, we both agreed was just completely unnecessary. And that's the part of the movie that makes it feel like fucking Home Alone 2, you know?
Yeah, so. Yeah. That is, yeah. Joe Pesci and
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, yeah, mixed together. They become Christopher Lloyd.
I mean, if we get the fucking Sticky Bandits and you add Christopher Lloyd, like we had a Home Alone, like a real Home Alone 3 with Macaulay Culkin and Christopher Lloyd gets added to him.
Jesus.
Might be in business.
Could it happen? Yeah. They're all active. You could make a Home Alone like however many years.
Real dark. Like they've just been like plotting this revenge for 30 years.
It's a thriller. They sneak up on Kevin McAllister as he's...
Kevin McAllister has his own family, but his past is back to haunt him.
So are they going... Yeah, are they going after Kevin or are they going after Kevin's kid?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be rough. Especially because Daniel Stern's all old and like has a crazy hair now.
I mean, Pesci.
Well, yeah, but like Daniel Stern, like Pesci's like, isn't he bald or pretty close to it? Yeah. Anyway, Christopher Lloyd. Is Christopher Lloyd still with us?
Yeah, he was in that movie with Saul Goodman. Nobody? I'm pretty sure he's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
sequel too.
Doc Brown, 87. God bless, man. Yeah. Be a really fucked up movie.
I want it now. Let's make it happen, Hollywood. All right, let's start with the rotten quotes. Todd McCarthy from Variety says, "Very young children may find the numbskull by the numbers gags here amusing, but teens will consider this kid stuff and adults will be pained."
Numbskull is an underrated descriptive term or slang.
Yeah. But I think Todd McCarthy is kind of missing the point. This movie is for kids. So really, teens and parents are not part of the audience.
Made $120 million. Joke's on you.
Yeah. Here's it. Like teens, whatever. But parents, they're not going to care. Parents are going to bring the kids to watch Dennis the Menace anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and as discussed
you
in the
tell them Leah
episode,
Thompson is there?
I was about to say, the husbands, the dads, they got a little treat on the eyes there. So it'll be all right. And for the ladies, Paul Winfield.
Not Andy Bernard as Dennis's dad. Why not? All right. Next, Quentin Curtis from The Independent on Sunday says, "As Dennis, the charmless Mason is a gamble that hasn't paid off. Gamble with the capital G because the actor is called Mason Gamble.
Yeah.
Quentin Curtis, can't you do better?"
Of Rushmore fame, as we discussed in the episode.
Yes. Yeah. So joke's on you, Quentin Curtis. You decided to pick on a kid on your Rotten Tomatoes quote. And then
how many Criterion releases are you in, Campbell?
All right. TV Guide, well, no critic there, says, "John Hughes' vision of Dennis is much more menacing than Ketchum's fans and parents of small children might reasonably expect." Dennis himself is not menacing.
No, I think what he's referring to is some of the
like the world
actions, which is spoiled in the trailer. Getting ahead of ourselves, the fucking last gag of the movie is he sets Walter Matthau's face on fire.
Okay, it's a little less graphic than that.
Yeah, it's a marshmallow gets stuck on his forehead, but yeah, I mean, some of these things hurt people, whereas like Dennis the Menace is, spilled milk and shit like that. I remember the comic strip from when I was a kid. By that point, it would have been around for, like I said, 40 years, and so it was all, fairly innocent stuff. And I guess, fucking he hits Christopher Lloyd in the butt like 5 times
with a knife in one of those.
It's true.
Okay, I guess I can see that. But then I would hope that, well, no, I guess their complaint is that the original material was not as violent. So you can't complain about Home Alone because Home Alone was an original idea. So it's just like violent and, well, that's how it is. But in this case, you took Dennis the Menace, which was, it would be like if they made like the Peanuts movie, Snoopy, and Snoopy was just like really violent, biting everybody, and Charlie Brown got really badly injured and stuff. Yeah, I guess I can see it. Anyway, those are the quotes, Alex. Let's talk about the trailer. Trailer chatter. You just mentioned that they spoiled literally the last sequence of the movie.
It's the last shot of the movie. Is that?
Yeah, not counting the post credits, but yes.
Does it sells it a John Hughes production, and then at the end, a film by Nick Castle. Yes, Michael Myers. I mean, it's perfect for what it needs to be. It's less than 2 minutes. It establishes what the movie's going to be. If you don't know what Dennis the Menace or who Dennis the Menace is, it gives away some of the big gags. Now, what I will say is it only sets up the Dennis versus Mr. Wilson dynamic. They mention Switchblade Sam. It's like the characters are all here. Blah, 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 blah. Switchblade Sam. And that is like the entire act of the third act of the movie is the Switchblade. And he shows up like early, and then he's like this ominous presence. And so they don't really do enough to lean into that, but they don't need to. They're like, hey, this little kid's going to terrorize this old man, and You know, he has a cool bike with the card clipped to the wheel, so it sounds like a fucking motorcycle, and he has a slingshot. I mean, it's look, if they leaned into the Switchblade Sam story in the trailer, the same amount of kids were going to go see it, so it doesn't really matter one way or the other.
Yes. And I was going to say, okay, but isn't it like a bit of a switch and bait, because you're selling me a movie that's about what I think the comic strip was about, which is Dennis terrorizing Mr. Wilson. But then the movie is about Dennis terrorizing Mr. Wilson for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then it's Dennis versus Switchblade Sam. But to be fair, that's what the movie does too. The movie sells you a different movie the first, 2/3, and then it hard left to a hostage situation.
The fucking opening scene goes on forever, and it's him trying to wake up Mr. Wilson, which is truncated, bite-sized in the trailer here.
Not enough Leah Thompson.
No,
I think
never.
that you get like maybe one shot, and then no Paul Winfield, right? Like we keep making jokes about him, but you don't really. They don't spoil his his appearance,
his return to the force.
Yeah. It made me think that those kids that we didn't like, Dennis's friends, that they're actual characters in the comic strip, because when they do the roll call, they're like Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilson's wife, and then like they call the kids by name. It was like Dorothy and Johnny. Like, am I supposed to get excited about this? I don't care. I think that if anything, here's like what the trailer needed to do. It does, which is like, one, sell you that little kid as Dennis, and two, sell you Walter Matthau as Mr. Wilson.
Hell yeah.
And I think that from watching the trailer, you get it. They're like, oh yeah, perfect casting. Let's see where it goes. Good stuff.
Guaranteed too. There were some middle-aged to senior couples that went and saw this movie just because Walter Matthau is Mr. Wilson. And as discussed in the episode, that's one of the high points of the movie. So fair play to him.
They've been waiting their entire lives for Walter Matthau to really sell out and be part of a big Hollywood production. It was Star Wars or Dennis the Menace, and he went with Dennis the Menace. All right, well, that was the trailer. Let's go to the Josh Gad Minute. Alex, a whole assortment of characters here in Dennis the Menace land. What do? Do you throw the Gad a bone, and do you make him Dennis's dad? Do you couple him with Leah Thompson?
Oh, man. Fortunate soul. That's an option for sure, I think. Because I know Christopher Lloyd's going to be okay. I think the more interesting approach would be throwing him in there as Switchblade Sam.
Man, you dirty him up.
His hair's all disheveled, grease all over his face and shit. And, but you could add more elements of comedy to it. Like he could be a really clumsy burglar. Like, because Christopher Lloyd's kind of in and out, and Gad's doing like fucking Farley-esque pratfalls and shit. And then, he would definitely, not to say Christopher Lloyd doesn't ham it up when he gets burned by the beans and he gets the fucking, eats the key and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I think the two sides of the coin are exactly right. He's either clean shaven, hair comb to the side, and plays Mr. Mitchell, or he is Switchblade Sam. That would be my pick.
But you would say that Mr. Wilson's out of the question?
Yes. No. Walter Matthau is the most perfect part of this movie.
I agree. As much as I know that's the role everybody wants, I think that you're like, who do you want to play in the Dennis the Menace movie? Oh, I want to be with Mr. Wilson. Everybody else is underwritten that movie. Matthau claimed that role, and that's it. Good luck to whoever plays Mr. Wilson whenever they finally come around the IP Ferris wheel and they have to do another Dennis the Menace. All right, Josh Gad, you got your two choices. It's up to you. Send us an email, leave us a voicemail, whatever you want to do.
We'll be in touch.
And let's move over to trivia. Alex, what do you have?
A little smattering. Again, directed by The Shape, Nick Castle. Written by John Hughes, based on Dennis the Menace, the comic strip, 1951. A little bit of an interesting story with that, and another Dennis the Menace, as discussed in the episode.
Yes.
Before I forget, as a Simpsons purist, I do have to call out that in the episode, I do detail the Two Bad Neighbors episode and explain to Julio the Dennis the Menace parallel there, beyond just obviously Bart Simpson being the 90s evolution of the Dennis the Menace character. Hello, Mr. Bush. Released on June 25th of 1993, as discussed in the episode, shortly after a movie that did pretty well for itself. So the fact this movie had such a financial gain is very, very impressive. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you which movie it is. If you know Ball, you know exactly what I'm referring to, but it's a movie that took the world relatively by storm. Budget of $35 million. I don't know how, but Walter Matthau ain't cheap, I guess. And Christopher Lloyd. Box office return of 117 million. So again, very, very impressive for what it is in the time period it came out. Natasha Lyonne's in this movie. Just throwing that out there.
It's not just a cameo. She has more screen time than Paul Winfield.
It's true. Production president Terry Semel wanted Tim Burton to direct the film, but executive producer
No thanks.
But executive producer Ernest Chambers rejected the idea and hired John Hughes as writer and producer. And he did that because of his Home Alone movies. Hughes hired Patrick Reed Johnson to direct after seeing Space Invaders, but Johnson left after having, quote, creative differences with Hughes, and Nick Castle was hired to replace him. Mason Gamble won the role of Dennis Mitchell after beating out a reported 20,000 children who had auditioned for it. Do you believe that? Do you believe they sat through 20,000 auditions? I believe that maybe like 20,000 people sent in a picture of their child.
Right. Videos. I don't know that those were watched.
Videos too. Yeah, exactly.
Do you believe it when it comes to Anakin, though, in Phantom Menace? And I know it was a bigger number, but I do believe it. I believe that Lucas was just like obsessively like looking for the right kid.
Poor Jake Lloyd. Jeez.
Whose life am I going to ruin? This is a very important decision.
Man. Is this year? Yeah, will be what, 27 years ago that came out. Yeah, that's a hard one. And again, maybe there was teams of interns across the country that sat, we have what, 4 different cities across the country, and 5,000 kids showed up to each of them. And these interns just had to take fucking meticulous notes. But Mason Gamble won out. The film premiered on, again, June 25th of 1993. It is known simply as Dennis in the United Kingdom to avoid confusion with the unrelated British comic strip also called Dennis the Menace, which debuted in 1951. Julio and I call bullshit on that. Someone's
100%. There is a relation.
What did we theorize? That the guy who actually created Dennis the Menace sat next to a guy on a flight to London and,
Yeah, they were just spitballing and they both walk away from it thinking it was their idea.
On October 26th, 1993, 4 months and 1 day after its theatrical release, Dennis the Menace was released on VHS, Beta, 8mm, and CX Laserdisc by Warner Home Video in the United States and Canada. On its release, the VHS cassette of the film came with a promotional tie-in for up to $8 in consumer mail-in rebate coupons from Crush Nintendo through Sony Entertainment, Nintendo System, and Game Boy, and Ocean Software. So Crush is... Yeah, that was a soda. Is it still around? Yeah.
It's like, Pepsi and Coke, Crush on Fanta. I think that's what it was.
I remember Crush. I'm looking at the logo right now, and I remember their orange soda I drank as a wee lad. Yes, it used to be better when physical media came for coupons for food. I was still in college when that was happening. Like, studios might have been like The Dark Knight or something, to hype like another movie that was about to come out theatrically. They would tie in with the physical media release of something else, and then it would be like, it would come with a coupon for like $5 off a ticket to that, or like, $5 off of popcorn at the theater, which I remember like those specialized ones never scanned, so we'd always have to power to please them at the theater, just be like, yeah, fucking go. The film was reissued.
You did your part. You bought the you bought the DVD, so
exactly,
we gotta reward you with.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for doing your part. The film was reissued on VHS as part of Warner Brothers' 75th Anniversary Collection in 1998, the Century Collection in 1999, the Century 2000 Collection in 2000, and the Warner Brothers Spotlight Collection in 2001. So theoretically, there are 5 different VHS versions of Dennis the Menace. I need the completionist. I need that story out there.
honestly, I think that the Holy Grail is probably that 8mm copy.
Yeah,
because that's just weird.
it is.
And I know my perception of 8mm movies is just warped because of the Nicolas Cage 8mm thriller. I just think when I think 8mm, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like the lurid, like disturbing movies homemade. Not Dennis the Menace.
Betamax still being produced in 1993 is crazy to me too. That's wild.
Last gasps.
Let's see here. Rounding out the physical media front on January 28th of 2003, the film was released on a special edition VHS and DVD with bonus features including a making of featurette, the television special A Menace Named Dennis, the trailers for both the film and direct-to-video sequel, Dennis the Menace Strikes Again, which we chronicle in the episode itself. I can't remember if we talked about this in the episode. It's been a while since we recorded, so forgive me for bringing it up. But Roger Ebert gave it 2.5 stars, saying there's a lot to like about Dennis the Menace, but Switchblade Sam prevents me from recommending it. Oh, man. And then let me pull up the full nominees here.
And Lloyd is doing what he was asked to do.
Oh, yeah, he's trying, man. As Julio mentioned, met with mixed to negative reviews, 28% Rotten Tomatoes, inciting a Razzie nomination for a young Mason Gamble at the 1994 Golden Raspberry Awards in the category of Worst New Star. Mason Gamble, Norman D. Golden II, Austin O'Brien. Man, they're just fucking picking on kids here, man. Norman D. Golden II was from Cop and a Half with Burt Reynolds. Austin O'Brien was the kid in...
don't tell me that it's the Schwarzenegger movie.
He plays
the
Danny.
Fuck is it called? Well, you know, the one that bombed and that was it was Shane Black.
I like a lot more than you do too. Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero. I was thinking Accidental Hero. That's a different movie.
Academy Award winner, Mercedes Ruehl.
Yes.
Mason Gamble along them. And then speaking of Academy Award winners, Roberto Benigni for Son of the Pink Panther. And who took it home? Janet Jackson for Poetic Justice. Now, this is a ceremony we have discussed before many, many moons ago. This was the year that Indecent Proposal swept the Razzies. Taking home Worst Picture, Worst Supporting Actor for Woody Harrelson, and Worst Screenplay. So
I'm sure I brought it up at that time, but Harrelson should be lead, not supporting. So we're considering Redford the lead?
Yeah, Redford was nominated. Yeah, we just got a couple more here to close out the show, Julio. We did Indecent Proposal. We did Last Action Hero. We did Sliver. The other two Worst Picture nominees were Cliffhanger and Body of Evidence starring Madonna. So I think, put that on the itinerary. And because we're here already, we would have talked about this in our Indecent Proposal episode, but the original song written for Indecent Proposal was nominated along with Big Gun, which was the AC/DC song from Last Action Hero, but they lost to Addams Family Whoomp, which
we did.
Do you remember that song? Yeah. Whoomp, there it is, Addams Family. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I looked it up on YouTube so I could clip it and put it on the episode.
Truly, it used to be better. There was a video game from this that was on the Amiga, the Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. It had to have been like just a platformer.
Probably. I remember the Home Alone Super Nintendo game, and it was just that. It was, you were Kevin and you were like jumping and doing stuff, so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm looking. Why is Walter Matthau so huge? Yeah, it looks like a platformer where Mr. Wilson is approximately like 5 times the size of Dennis. So
is he the final boss? Is that what's happening?
Yes. I finally got you where I want you, Dennis. The cover is actually pretty cool. I'm looking at the SNES box art, excuse me, and it's Dennis rearing back his fucking slingshot. I'd play that game. So anyway, a different time, a simpler time. Leah Thompson, unbelievable. But that was Dennis the Menace.
Leah Thompson is easily the main reason, I think, the most, like the thing that we can all agree across ages, generations, what have you, just watch it for Leah Thompson and you'll be happy. In addition, if you like 90s, this type of 90s movie centered around a child creating chaos, hurting adults, getting away with it. Like this movie is just that. It's that. And there's much worse examples of it. This one is fine. Walter Matthau, kind of a sight to behold as Mr. Wilson.
It's true.
Yeah. It's good. It's, again, it sounds like faint praise, but we've done so much worse on this show. And this is, that 26% sells it to you as a really bad movie, and it's not. If you know what you're getting into, it'll be fine. If you have some nostalgia for that era, the 90s, and that type of movie, you're going to have a good time. So we both ultimately recommend Dennis the Menace, if nothing else, so you can enjoy the episode even more so, because you'll know exactly what we're talking about. But watch Dennis the Menace, listen to the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon. That summer of